We shall now begin the voting process.
A 2004 resolution establishing the Human Rights Council says the General Assembly may suspend the membership rights of a country that commits gross and systematic violations of human rights. The vote required a two-thirds majority of those voting yes or no, while abstentions did not count. At the end, 93 countries in favour, 24 against, with 58 abstentions. Introducing the text, Ukraine's envoy urged the Assembly not to repeat the mistakes of indifference that allowed the Rwanda genocide to go unchecked.
We view voting to suspend a state's Human Rights Council rights as a rare and extraordinary action. However, Russia's actions are beyond the pale. Russia is not only committing human rights violations, it is shaking the underpinnings of international peace and security. The genocide in Rwanda was largely due to the indifference of the world's community. When the UN did not respond to warnings in the UN Security Council and in General Assembly a year before the tragedy.
Russia objected, calling the effort an attempt to destroy the existing global human rights architecture.
The draft resolution we're considering today has no relationship to the actual human rights situation on the ground. I would like to repeat or quote our note, which the ambassador mentioned. What we're seeing today is an attempt by the United States to maintain its dominant position and total control, to continue its attempt at human rights colonialism in international relations.
Mr. President,
South Africa urged dialogue between the parties and called on the GA to adopt constructive outcomes that encouraged mediation, and pointed to a Human Rights Council Commission of Inquiry established last month to investigate alleged abuses in Ukraine.
the Commission has not yet commenced its work, and we await its findings on the allegations of gross violations and abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law. South Africa is of the firm belief that the tabling of the resolution that we will consider today is premature and prejudges the outcomes of the Commission of Inquiry. We must allow the Commission to urgently undertake its mandate and report to the Human Rights Council and the General Assembly on its outcomes.
Cuba warned the suspension mechanism could be used selectively, especially against countries that do not support the interests of domination by others.
Could this Assembly someday adopt a resolution suspending the membership of the United States in the Human Rights Council? Just to give one example. We all know that that has not happened, nor will it, despite its flagrant and massive violations of human rights as a result of invasions and wars against sovereign states.
The only other country to have its membership of the Human Rights Council suspended was Libya, after a unanimous decision of the General Assembly in 2011. South Africa also cautioned that the resolution would further divide and polarize countries on the matter of Ukraine, warning that the Assembly was not following due process. Ambassador Mabongo called for consistency on issues of human rights violations in order to support and not undermine the credibility of both the Human Rights Council and the General Assembly. The United States Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield tweeted shortly after the vote that the Assembly had sent a clear message that Russia would be held accountable for its actions. Sherwin Brycebees, SABC News, New York.